Picture this. You and your partner earn a good combined salary. You are disciplined. You cook at home. You cancelled the subscriptions you never use. You don't spend on luxuries. And yet, on any quiet morning, when you open your banking app and look at your deposit pot, it feels like it is standing still. Not shrinking, standing still, which is somehow worse. Because you did everything right. You followed every rule they told you to follow. So why does the finish line keep drifting further away? Here is the uncomfortable truth. In 2026, the British dream isn't being killed by your habits. It is being killed by the architecture of the economy itself. This isn't a story about one too many takeaways. It is a story about a system engineered, quietly and mathematically, to keep the deposit just out of reach. Let's break down exactly how the trap is built. Start with the simplest way to picture it. Trying to save for a deposit while renting in Britain is like trying to run up an escalator that is moving down. Your savings, speed, the money you claw back every month, is your running pace. And the escalator moving down beneath you? That is the combined force of rent and inflation. In 2026, that escalator is moving faster than most couples can run. So you run harder, you pick up overtime, you skip the holiday, and at the end of the year, you look down and you are standing on exactly the same step you were standing on 12 months ago. You are exhausted, you are sweating, and you have not moved. The cruelty of it is that from the outside, it looks like you are barely trying. From the inside, you have never worked harder in your life. And the numbers back this up. Right now, the average rent in Britain consumes over 38% of a median earner's net pay. In London and the home counties, that figure climbs past 45%. Before you have bought a single thing, before food, before travel, before a single pound goes toward that deposit, nearly half your take-home pay has already walked out the door and into someone else's asset. Fine, you think, we'll just earn more. It sounds like the obvious answer. And this is exactly where the trap gets clever, because the system has already thought of that. Say you and your partner grind through the overtime to push that deposit toward the £20,000 milestone. You would expect the system to reward that effort. Instead, you get pruned. The mechanism is called fiscal drag, and in 2026, it is doing a lot of quiet damage. The tax thresholds, the income levels where you start paying more, have been frozen. They are not moving, but your wages and the cost of everything around you are. So as your pay nudges upward to try and keep pace, more and more of it is dragged across into the higher tax band. The result? When you finally get that raise designed to help you save more, HMRC can take 40% of that extra effort. Add national insurance on top, and the reward for your discipline is gutted before it ever reaches your savings account. Your savings margin, the actual gap between what comes in and what goes out, barely moves. You are being taxed, specifically for the crime of trying harder. The very raise you took on to escape faster is quietly clawed back to keep you exactly where you were. Then come the service charges for life, council, tax, contents, insurance, the endless small levies of simply existing in a property. As a renter, you pay these faithfully, every month, and here is the part that stings. You get zero equity in return. Not a penny of it builds toward anything you own. It is a siphon, money leaving your account to keep the lights of the system on while your own net worth flatlines. A homeowner pays some of these too, yes, but they pay them while an asset appreciates underneath them. You pay them while standing still. Which brings us to the wall. Imagine a mirrored glass wall running down the middle of the country. On your side are the renters. On the other side are the homeowners. And here is the thing about that glass. You can see straight through it. You can watch them building equity, decorating, painting a wall a color they actually chose, adding value to something that is theirs. And the bitter irony? Through your rent, you are already paying their mortgage for them. You are funding a fortress that you are not allowed to enter. Think about what that means. You already have the monthly capacity for a mortgage. The rent you hand over every month is often more than the monthly repayment on the very home you are renting. You have proven, month after month, that you can afford it. What you lack is the capital key, the deposit, to open the door. And every single year, that key gets more expensive to cut. Because the house on the other side of the glass will not wait for you. House prices in Britain are projected to rise by 3% in 2026. That sounds modest. It is not. On a £300,000 house, a 3% rise is a £9,000 increase, which means just to hold your position, just to not fall further behind, you now need to find roughly an extra £900 of deposit every single year. That is the escalator again, wearing a different suit. You are not saving toward a fixed target. You are saving toward a target that is actively running away from you. And this is the feeling that catches so many couples off guard. It usually arrives at the start of the work week, in a quiet moment before the day begins. The realization that your labor, your early starts, your late finishes, your discipline is being converted in real time into someone else's wealth. Your rent is topping up your landlord's portfolio. It may well be funding their SIP, quietly compounding toward their comfortable retirement. Meanwhile, your own future stays liquid, exposed, and vulnerable, sitting in a savings account, being slowly eaten by inflation, building nothing permanent at all. But the banks are helping, some will say. They are offering 40-year mortgages now. Here is the mortgage broker's honest answer. That is not a rescue. That is a mirage. Stretching a mortgage over 40 years instead of 25 does one thing reliably. It lets people borrow more. And when everyone can borrow more, sellers simply charge more. That extra borrowing capacity doesn't land in your pocket. It gets absorbed, almost instantly, into a higher asking price. So the 40-year term does not shrink the deposit gap. By nudging prices higher, it quietly widens it. The tool sold to you as the ladder is, in practice, just another turn of the escalator. Now, let's talk about the real cost, the one that never shows up on a rent statement. Imagine your rent rises over the next 5 years, and across that stretch, it pulls an extra £10,000 out of your household that you would otherwise have saved and invested. £10,000. It feels like a survivable number, a few £100s a month, absorbed, endured. But money is not just money. Money is time. Had that £10,000 gone into a stocks and shares ISA, instead, invested steadily at a modest 7% annual return, and left alone to compound for 2 decades, it would not stay £10,000. It would grow into more than £30,000 of future wealth. That is the power you are handing away, one monthly payment at a time. So the true price of that rent hike is not £10,000. It is the 30-odd thousand pounds it would one day have become. That is the tax the escalator never prints on a receipt. Not just the money you lose today, but every pound it would have grown into tomorrow. So let's be honest about what this is. The renting trap in Britain is not a personal failing. It is a mathematical stalemate. Rent that eats 40-odd% of your pay, a tax system that prunes your extra effort, service charges that build no equity, a deposit target that runs away by £900 a year. Each piece is small. Stacked together, they are designed to keep you exactly where you are. And you cannot out-discipline architecture. You cannot budget your way out of a system built to move faster than you can run. Running harder up the escalator was never going to work. The escalator was designed to win. True freedom, then, doesn't come from running faster. It comes from stepping off. From refusing to play the game by the old rules and going looking, instead, for the manual override, the schemes, the structures, the strategic moves that stop the stairs beneath you. Because the couples who eventually break through in 2026 are not the ones who ran the hardest. They are the ones who stopped trying to outrun the machine and finally found the switch. If this video helped you, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.